Good morning, everyone. So today is Friday, the 31st of March, and Fridays are Guy days. So what you're looking at now is the position of Guy. He's on his way down towards Cape Horn, and the weather's pretty good. Normally, I'd actually say, if he's in a position like that, because he's actually been higher, he's been up here somewhere. I would actually say, wow, he's really not in a good position, because if you get a big southwesterly blow here, you can get trapped on a serious lee shore. You've got nowhere to run. But he's obviously getting good weather reports, because he has got some good northwesterlies pretty much all the way down towards Cape Horn. So that's kind of good. And he's only 526 miles to go. And he's making really good times. He's sailing at about nearly 6 knots at the moment. And, that's going to be 120, 130, 140-mile days. So that's about 4 days. So sometime early next week, he should be around the corner. So we'll do a special Guy day when we see him get around Cape Horn, and wish him well. And we'll try and lock into a phone call. I'll get him, once he's around, we'll try and get him to give us a sound cloud. I'll get a message through his team and say, what happened? How was the rounding and stuff like that? So we'll look forward to that, but we wish him well. And in fact, we'll just roll through the weather while we're here, I suppose, just so you can see what's going to happen to him. I've got to get rid of that and go boom. So generally speaking, that's a day. You've got strong northwesterlies there. Even stronger stuff, but it's just going to push him speed down. He knows what heavy weather is, and the trade wind's a beautiful boat, and heavy weather downwind. There's the third, there's the fourth. Again, some big breezes coming, but by that stage, he's going to be down here. He might get a bit of a kick. He might just miss that, and then he should be. But either way, the wind's in the right direction. So he's got favourable stuff. There's the fourth, another push, but it's all in the right direction. So all's looking good for Guy. So we're happy about that. And as I say, we wish him well. So a couple of things to alert you to, in case you didn't realise, we're on daylight saving time in France. so the positions that's going to be on the tracker are going to show our old position, 4 o'clock. They'll be 3 hours old, because they won't roll over now to our local time until 10 o'clock this morning. So starting tomorrow, we're going to actually put the timelines back to 10 o'clock local time in France, and UTC, that'll be 9 o'clock, 0900 hours UTC. So I'll let you adjust your own clocks. I should have done it this morning, but I don't want to leave those that are watching this live hanging. We have most people coming on, to follow it once it's up. In fact, we've got really solid stuff. So, and we love seeing your comments and where you're from. Some strange places out there. And UTC. 8 UTC.
Not 9.
Oh, cheapers, see? Lucky I'm not a navigator. I'll get completely screwed up. All right. So that was just a comment from Jane. So it's 800 hours UTC. You're right. Jeepers, too many things going on. Anyway, back to the track. Oh, and the quick Q&A. We've got a lot of questions on YouTube there, huge amount. In fact, I may even do the answers today before the day's finished, because it's going to take a while to get through those questions. So if you've got a question, you better get it in quick, because I'm probably going to shut that down sometime today. And I may do the answers depending on what's going on here. I may do it late today. Okay, so back to the tracker. Okay, so Ian got underway. And the interesting one there, the guys that helped them, they've got a great website if you're interested. And the website is Jonathan Adventure Sailing. And you spell the Jonathan with a JONATHAM. So it's jonathanadventuresailing.com. And you'll see the boat that was helping them. I had a look yesterday. It's really cool. Mark there and his partner gave Ian a lot of help. They actually towed him into the anchorage. I didn't realise that, but they picked him up and towed him in, probably to save fuel. And I think they've handed over some fuel as well in the meantime. And Ian's now happily on his way, which is kind of cool. Doing 5 knots in the right direction. And he's done 128 nautical miles in the first, in fact, it wouldn't be, is he out 24 hours? Yeah, he was. So he's out for 24 hours. So, and the weather generally, see what it looks like. It's blowing in a favourable direction. I think you can see what's happening there. The size is about right. An interesting point here, if your screen is fuzzy, I've got Windy TY or Windy program to show you a storm that's coming to Jeremy. And what we're finding is that when I have another whole program on standby on this software, it degrades the image. So I'll be watching that carefully. So if you can't actually see the wind gradients here, that's probably what's causing it. So we're going to have a look at that on this edition on the replay, and then we'll try and work out what we can do with that. But that might be why it's a bit fuzzy for you. Anyway, so coming through, there's the first, so there's 24 hours ahead. He's got a northerly there, but it's not heavy yet. So he might be pushing out to the it's coming on the nose a bit. So he's probably going to be, the first day looks pretty good. Second day, this is going to start to head him a bit. It's coming in from the northeasterly direction. He'll be over here at this stage, and that'll probably push him down a little bit. Hopefully no more than east, but we'll have to wait and see where he goes. So it's a bit of a puff. It's probably going to be 30, gusting 40, but it's over pretty quick. And then he gets a complete kick around on this little system here, and it'll be behind him. So that wind's only going to last about 6 or 7 hours, and then he's on his way again. So this is by midnight the next night, so 36 hours ahead. That's what he's looking like. And then, he's got favourable wind direction, but then he might get hooked up in this area here. So that's on the 3rd. He's going to go a bit quiet. Sorry?
You're not showing on the screen. You're only seeing you.
Okay. Jeepers. Okay, sorry about that. You're listening to a commentary without seeing the vision. I forgot to click across. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so now you got the tracker. Hey, sorry about that, everybody. I'll start that again. I'll just pull the vision back. I've got to go to 3 different, wrong one. 3 different spots here. Get rid of that. Come on. Okay, so back to real-time weather. You heard the commentary. And here's this following breeze for Ian, southwesterly. Get rid of the Chinese stuff. Jeepers. Okay, so he's got a northwesterly then pushing through before this northerly comes up. Okay, and here we go. This is the northerly that's going to reach him, and this is on the 1st. So he's gone through the first day. So this is now after the first 24 hours. He'll be up here somewhere, and that northerly is going to push him a little bit out to the east, obviously, but it's not going to last very long. That's what I was saying. It's only going to last about 7 or 8 hours or something. And then it swings around really quickly, and he's got a southwesterly bearing on a southerly right on that point. So, excuse me, second day is looking reasonable. And then he's got this really confused trough coming up, or it's actually the center of a high here, which will soften it out. So the third day, he's going to have to do a bit more work. Anyway, all looks pretty good for Ian there. And now let's come back here and look at what's going to happen to Jeremy. Right now, it's all a bit frustrating. Very light winds, 5.3 knots. And he's got a light northerly. So he's doing okay, than 116 nautical miles in the day. But it's getting a bit messy. And we sent him our weather alert for him yesterday. Was say, Jeremy, there's another big storm coming. Going to come over the top of you. Get north as fast as you can. Basically, that's what we told him to do. And you can see here he's got a northerly wind. So he's trying to get north as quick as he can, but he's still going to get hit with this thing. But the good news is it's softening off, which you'll see in a minute. So he's struggling to get north as quick as he can. And this is the weather that he's got. So it's going to go a little bit to the northwest. Okay, so that's kind of good. If it's northwest, he'll be going northeast and a little bit more. And here's this system coming up, sneaking up from the southwest, which is going to envelop him. And it looked a lot nastier yesterday than it is today, but it still doesn't look too healthy. So you can see there he'll be still struggling to try and get up north as quick as he can, but he will. He'll make the most of that as the wind starts to increase. It's from the northwest, so he'll be going out in a northeasterly direction. And this is now just over 24 hours away. This is about 30 hours ahead of time. So in fact, I'll take it right to the edge. 20, it's about 36. So you'll probably do about 140 miles. Yeah, he'll be about there. Now, I know I've had a few people telling me if I leave that cursor there and let it come over, the cursor will disappear. So just imagine now Jeremy's sitting in a position around about here, and you'll see what happens to the system. It starts to come across. It's blowing pretty hard from the northwest. Okay, so he'll then, remembering he's about here somewhere, when it's blowing northwest, he'll probably be running out to the east, okay, which is not a good thing because it means if he's moved a little bit out to the east, he's going to be in it for a little bit longer. As you can see there, it follows him over. But the key is to get up north because this is the dangerous zone. And it's opening up a bit. It's getting bigger. By that I mean that this sort of funny bit in the middle here has got wider across there. When they're really tight with a slit, you get a really heavy northerly wind, and then it rockets around to the south in just minutes. You can be 20 minutes, and the sea that it creates becomes very dangerous. So we're trying to get him away from the centre. And the good news is this has got a lot weaker from yesterday. This was showing to be quite intense, but there's all these holes opening up here. And if Jeremy's up at this position, it looks like it's only going to be 30, gusting 40, and the max for an hour or so, about 45 knots. But I'll show you that on wind in a minute. So you can see, remembering Ian is up in this area here and coming over into that area. The difference here too is that you'll see if this was a cyclone, this is in the safe quadrant. Because where he is, he's going to get blown away from it. He's going to get blown out of the system. The one he had just recently, a few days ago, he was in the worst possible position and he was on the worst tack. He should have actually tacked across to the other side, and then he would have slowly worked his way out of the system. But he stayed in it, and it followed him across. Or he stayed in it and followed the storm, as he was going with it. But here he's going to get blown out because when it's like that, if it's here, if he's up here somewhere, you'll see. As the storm progresses, you're actually in a safe quadrant. You can sail out of it. You can get clear of it. So this will be speeding him up, and he'll be going in the right direction. He's going away from the centre, and the wind will drop off completely as he's there. So I'll just show you what's happening. This is windy for the same thing, and that's about where he'll be when it starts to interact at this point. And it looks like it's going to be forecast wind is around about 30 knots. As it goes over, it's holding about 30 knots forecast. And when you got 30, you've got to put a third on top of that. So that's saying gusts of around 40 knots. And if we come back to where it is again, if I go on wind gust now, you'll see there's some big winds in here for sure. And there's 27 knots. These are gusts. Okay, remembering that's 36 knots. Now you're up to 46. Okay, and that's, 45, 46 knots. Is about where it was. I'll bring it back to 46 if I can find it. There's 47 knots, and waves at that point are going to be around 4.6 meters. I'll show you the sea will build up a little bit as the wind is dying. The sea keeps building up because it's come through so quickly. It's not like the Southern Ocean. In the Southern Ocean, the swells already exist. So when you get a storm like this, it just picks it up from the standing swell of 3 to 5 meters. It picks it up to 6, 7, 8 meters and bigger when you get these big winds. But here it starts off from like 1 meter or 2 meter. You don't get these huge swells as the foundation for the new waves. So even though there's some big winds, 47 might gust up to 50 knots or something, the sea max is going to be about 5 meters. So all told, it's not too bad. Now, if I just hang on, I've got to press the right button here and no, that's not it. Anyway, I'm just trying to get rid of that one and make it clearer on the screen. So what I'm going to do now is this should come back to that's windy. So now I've got to find the tracker, which is there. Okay, so we're now back onto our normal tracker. Now I've got to get on it. Okay. So that's what's happening to Ian in the next few days. So, and as it goes over, you can see it'll quickly be gone, and he's got a beautiful southwesterly. He'll be on his way. But the next couple of days, he's going to be wet and windy again for him. So he's cracked the most storms of anyone in the whole GGR. Seb's been counting them, and we've got a newsletter update coming out in the next few hours, a press release. And he worked it out. He said, "Yep, he's bagged all the storms, poor guy." So interesting stuff for him. Plenty of stories to tell when he gets in, and we go from there. So good. He's 6.7 knots. He had a big chat on the SoundCloud. I hope you listened to that. But he's in the trades and he's making really good time. He'll have everything up there. He's got his mizzen staysail up probably, and he's asymmetric up the front. full main, full mizzen, just rocketing 6.7 knots. So he's been gaining on the guys up front and girls. I say guys with great affection for Kirsten. So he's 900 miles behind. Ooh, he'll be happy with that. And if he's lucky, he'll get a short doldrums here, zip across, and then give them a run for their money or something, And there's really no point in looking at Goog's future weather, but I will, just to keep everyone happy there. Nuri will be happy. He's probably eating the last of his sardines. I wonder if they rationed him all the way out. So anyway, it's just, I'm going to quickly roll this through. Trade winds, really getting a bit light north of him. As he gets up, it's getting lighter. That's interesting. Yeah, it's getting much lighter. So he's going to slow down there. And it's forming into, I won't call it the doldrums yet. The doldrums are really holding up still at this level, but you can see as he's coming up, it's really quite a bit lighter. And that's going to slow him down just a little bit. Probably give him, instead of doing the 6.7s, he'll be doing 5.5s or something. But it's still holding. That's the 3-4 days. By then he's into the doldrums. He's only got probably 600 miles to go to the edge of that, 500 even. So yeah, so he's going to make it up to the doldrums, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so that's Captain Goog, and here we go. Pretty much as predicted yesterday. In fact, it's spot on. The whole thing has been the forecasting for the weather here has been pretty accurate, really, and it's been reflected in the projections of boat speeds and where people will be at. So right now, 3 hours ago, I should say, Kirsten's been doing 1.3 knot and made 15 miles in the last 24 hours. So not so happy. Simon, on the other hand, has done 61 nautical miles, so he's picked up 45 miles on Kirsten. Is actually looking like to gain the lead very shortly. And Abelish has been doing 71 nautical miles, but he's making 5.3 knots. And as we suggested, he's now pushing to windward, and he's making a course which is way off the rum line. And so that's challenging for now. If we come back and just explain that, this trade wind at the moment where he is, yeah, it's pretty much northeast, and he's holding pretty high. He's holding probably about 60 degrees, 70 degrees apparent. It's a bit hard to say exactly what he's getting, but he's obviously going to be hanging out down below, because there'll be a lot of water over the deck, and he'll probably be reading a book if he's got any left. And there's not a lot to do with the sails, because you can see that the wind strength is pretty consistent in these situations. There's a bit of colour over here. So there'll be light puffs, and he'll be reefing and hanging out the main. He can't use his secret sail, so that's his lot. And this is going to last here. You can see if he makes this course, there's 1,200 miles there. There's 1,200 miles at least. So this is always an interesting challenge for everyone. And you'll see it reflected in the comments after about 4 or 5 days of this. They start thinking, "Oh, jeepers, this is horrible. Give me the Southern Ocean," So that's kind of interesting to watch. And then Simon, he's right on the edge of this, of the soft area, okay, as it stands at the moment, but it'll probably change. And Kirsten's way off to the east here. Normally, as I've always been saying, the doldrums, they're on an angle like this, so you always try and hang out to the west. But then when you do, you're in a bad position here going to windward, because eventually you're going to have to tack back or something. Whereas Kirsten, if she can get to it, and it's not there at the moment, sometimes the northeasterly trades are coming right down here as well, and she'd just about be into it and go, but right now there's a big hole. So let's just see what's going to happen here. You can get an impression. The whole lot's going quiet. But there is a little bit of breeze here for Kirsten. You can see it coming up, so she should start sailing again. She's out of the hole, but how long will that last? You can see how much softer the trades are over here compared to over here with Abelish, right? And Simon will drive through this. He's looking all right. So that's a little bit over 24 hours away. And this is coming into day 2. That's the second day. And Kirsten's still going to be struggling to keep up with this. But Simon should be okay. Light winds, he doesn't mind. Light wind going to, not too light, but lighter wind than, if you've got 18 to 22 knots or something, you can actually do just as well if it's like 15 knots and a lighter sea. You can set the boat up to go, and that's exactly what Simon will be looking for. If he gets this, he may end up going faster than Abelish, even with less breeze, because the sea state's easier and he can point higher. So he'd be a lot more efficient. So that's probably going to favour. That's going to may work into Simon's game plan. It just suits the boat, suits his style of sailing and so on. And you can still see here, there's a lot of lights. It's light on this side, lighter than it is there. So anyway, that's about it. Sorry about the confusion again in the morning with being on the wrong page and all that sort of stuff. And we'll see you tomorrow. And we might do the questions and answers later today. So see you later. I've got to press that one now, just so you got the bits. Bye-bye.